Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel for another collage stories. Today's prompts are brought to us by the beautiful, lovely Selina over in Oz, Australia. So the prompts we have today all begin with B, so that's super fun. So blue, beverage, building, bloom, bill, and I have chosen a sixth prompt, which I haven't written in, I see. So let's just do that now. So the sixth prompt that I'm adding is basket, because you know I needed to make it begin with a B, didn't I? Well, I didn't have to, but I thought it was fun to keep on that B theme. Okay, so I'm going to put this out of the way, bring over my paper here, and let's get collaging. So I've kind of already worked out the composition. It's sitting above me on the desk, so I'm going to grab a piece. We're not going to do it in order of the prompts. I'm doing it in the order of how I want to lay things down. So I'm going to grab my first piece here, which is the building. So there's this lovely 1920s stone cottage. Now I do want to actually make this my pocket as well, so I'm going to tuck the prompt list in there so I know where it's going to go, and then put glue all around. Zoop and zoop along there, whatever zoop is. Actually, that reminds me of a game I used to play ages ago. Pretty sure it was called Zoop. I haven't thought of that for a long time, and I can't even remember what it was about or anything. Does anyone know? Does it ring a bell for anybody? A game named Zoop? Z-O-O-P. It's ringing some sort of bells for me, but I don't know what it was all about, or whether it was just a random game. Okay, so now I'm going to carefully remove the prompt list. Whoops. Got a little bit of glue on it, but it's okay. Wipe that off and pop that down around about there. Okay, so our building is locked in place. Next I'm going to do the blue, which is the first prompt, and I've got this really interesting chair. Like this, the back of the chair is so tall and narrow. You know, this is the seat down here, and this is the back of the chair. It's really interesting. I thought it was just quite fascinating. Did I want to... Actually, I need to put something under that. Okay. We're going to jump to the bottom of the list, the bill. And this is a bill, part of a printable from Cozy Paper Studio. I just had to look at the name, and I think this needs to go down next, so we'll put this down next. Fantastic printable. It's full of like receipts and checks and bills and all sorts of things along those lines. So super fun to use in layering up, or some larger pieces. There's some larger bits than this that you could easily turn into a piece of ephemera. Just put a back on it or print it off on heavier paper. Oh, there's a light plane going over. I've heard a light plane every day this week, so I don't know what they're doing, whether they're just practicing or... But it's nice today because it's raining, but it's not cold, and there's rain on the roof, and it's just really pleasant. So here's my basket there, and my beverage here. So I just need to kind of... So basket goes on next. Yeah, it's really lovely listening to the rain, because we've had a couple of really warm days. Both food bank days, both days where I was lugging heavy food parcels and running around backwards and forwards and all that sort of jazz, were the hot days, the hottest days we've had in February, 29 and 28. So very warm days that I was really active. You know, wouldn't that be the way? And so a cooler day today, but a day with rain, it's just, you know, when it's not cold, when it's a lovely warmish, like it's not cold, it's like 18 degrees it's supposed to get to today. So just nice temperature, bit of rain, just the sound of it on the roof, just really enjoying it. I probably will get cold because that's just the way I rock. I get cold, but you know, I've got my hoodie on. I can close the window. I've still got a window open, so if it gets a bit cold, I can close the window. But I'm enjoying the fresh air as well. You know, give the house a bit of an air out. The downside is with the couple of warm days, the flies all came out. It's been pretty good summer for flies because it hasn't been warm. So the flies all came out yesterday, and it's just a full-on mission trying to take care of the flies. Like not thousands, not hundreds, not even tens, but just enough to be annoying. So I've blowflies, they're all dealt with. I usually manage to get those outside again. Just open a window and sort of encourage them towards it. Usually enough to take care of the blowflies, but the houseflies, my goodness, they're dumb, aren't they? They just buzz around and they're in your face and they're over your food and they're on surfaces and they just don't go anywhere except around me. And I dislike flies. So they're being a right pain in the patootie, they are. And I've killed 2 already this morning, and there's still more. And you know, you pick up the fly swat. I know it's gross, but I'd rather kill them than have them flying around and contaminating food and stuff. As soon as you pick up the fly swat, they magically disappear. Yeah, what's that about? They kind of like they know. Now, I've got to be careful I don't close my... Yep, I'm just going to sit it there so I don't accidentally put my flower too close to the pocket. So this is the last item to put on collage here, and then we can tell the story. I really like the composition of this collage. I find it very pleasing. The rain has stopped for the moment. There is potential of thunder today, so I would be quite happy if we got a bit of thunder. There was thunder the other day and it rolled on and on and on for... It wasn't directly overhead, so it was, you know, just a nice level of rumble. But it went on for at least half an hour, and I was sitting on the couch and just listening to the thunder roll on. Thunder roll on. It was really cool. So I'd be quite happy if we got some more thunder today. Maybe a good cracking one that's right overhead. That'd be fun. I do like a good thunderstorm. Okay, so enough talk about the weather. Let's get into today's story. Is that all? Yep, that's pretty much all in frame. So our story today is about a family by the name of Benson. Continuing the B theme, of course, the letter B. So the family Benson, they live in this old cottage. And they're a typical family. You know, they're not rich. They do their best in the world. You know, they do their best in life and make good choices. They try and be self-sufficient. But let's face it, in this day and age, very, very hard to be self-sufficient. There are certain things that you can't access. And I'm not talking technology. I'm talking meat, dairy, you know, unless you've got a lifestyle block or a farm where you can produce your own, it's very hard to be self-sufficient. And then there's trades, like it's an old house, so there's things that go wrong. They need a plumber, like a hot water cylinder that dies. Maybe speaking from experience here. You know, there's maintenance to do, things go wrong, things break down. It's just the way of things. And you might need a new knife because all your knives, you know, get whatever, no longer work properly, not safe, or anything. You break your dishes, you need new dishes. So they try their hardest to be self-sufficient, but every now and then there's just something that comes up that they've just got to bite the bullet and go, we've just got to buy whatever it is. So the poor family Benson, there's a family of 4. So there's mum and dad, and then there's 2 children, and they're both girls. So both children are girls. And the families had this expense for the house, for the maintenance of the house. And so they've had to go to the hardware shop, because this is from a hardware shop, this bill. And they've had to buy some things to fix the house. And they decide, okay, we need a family meeting because we actually don't have the money to pay this bill, but it's not a bill we could afford. We could avoid, sorry, it's not a bill they could avoid. So they've got this bill here, and they're sitting around the dining room table as a family and going, I'm sorry, children, we're going to have to find some way of paying this bill, and we all need to work together to find ways that we can cut back or raise some funds to pay this bill. So the first daughter, the youngest daughter, she's looking out the window. She's only about 10, so this is all a little bit over her head. She's been raised in a family where they consider money and be very careful with things. So she is appreciative of that, but she is only 10. So she's kind of swinging her legs under the table, staring out the window. And an idea comes to her. So she's the first one to say, well, I see a whole lot of flowers out there that Mummy's planted, and they're really beautiful. They're really pretty. Perhaps we can sell some bunches of flowers at the local market. And the family looked out the window and looked at the mountains of blooms, that cottage style garden that's full of beautiful flowers, and they're like, well, it'd be very sad to see them go from the garden, but I think you're right, daughter. We could perhaps raise some money by selling bunches of beautiful flowers. So little girl went back to swinging her feet and smile on her face and watching the blooms blow in the breeze outside. As far as she was concerned, she'd done her bit. And she was kind of checking out and watching the butterflies and the flowers, and she went into daydreamland. So daughter number 2, the oldest daughter, she's around 18, 19. So she's older. She's got a bit more experience. She has not yet got a part-time job, but she fell in love years ago, back when she was probably 8 or 9, when she went to an after-school program and learnt to weave baskets. And she fell so much in love that she never stopped. And as she grew older and as she kept practicing and working, her baskets got better and better and better, until the whole family used baskets everywhere through the house, for their wood, for their washing, for everything, to put flowers in when they go out into the garden, or to put their vegetables in when they go out into the garden. Anywhere you can use a basket, to hold the toiletries in the bathroom, to hold their cosmetics, not that they're into cosmetics, but things like deodorant, things that you actually might need. They have baskets everywhere in the house. And she can't stop making them because she absolutely loves it. And they are beautiful baskets, beautifully formed, beautiful shapes, well done, well constructed, and absolutely gorgeous. And she's like, well, I've got tons of baskets that we're not using, and I'm not going to stop making them because I just love, love, love making them. She says, if we're going to sell flowers at the market, could we take some of my baskets and sell those? And proud mother and father exchange a smile and nod, and it's like, oh, so proud of our children, so proud. And they say to daughter number 2, that is so generous. Thank you for that. We would love to sell some of your baskets to raise some funds, and we appreciate all the time and effort that you've put into them, and they are beautiful. We know they will sell well. So thank you for letting us raise some money with your beautiful baskets. So daughter number 2 was really happy. She was quite happy to let her baskets go because it just gives her more excuse to make more. So they've got flowers and they've got baskets that they can sell at the local market. And that leaves Mum and Dad. It's like, well, how are they going to contribute to this bill that they need to pay? And Father Benson, he's a bit handy. You know, they like this more traditional crafty style lifestyle. And he likes to turn his hand to a bit of furniture every now and then. And he made this very unusual chair at some point, and they do have it in the house, but it doesn't really go with anything else. He was just experimenting and playing, but he's had lots and lots of comments from people who come to visit. They've always commented on this chair and says, you should go, you know, you should make this for a living. So he thought, well, family, you know my chair. And they all nodded because they knew the chair. He says, I've had so many comments on it, so many people commenting how they really love it. Perhaps I should sell my chair at the local market. Oops, my alarm's going off. Sorry if you can hear that. So the family agreed that if he was okay with that, if he was prepared to let go of this very unusual chair, that would be very, very helpful. And Father was a big sigh, but he was like, yeah, I can let it go. I can make another one. So Father's contributed his chair to the procurement of some funds to pay the bill. And that left Mum. So Mum was busy thinking. She was kind of tapping the table and thinking, well, youngest daughter's already committed my flowers, so can't do that. Oldest daughter's going to give her baskets. I don't make baskets, so I can't do anything like that. Hubby is going to give his chair, his special chair that he made with his own 2 hands. That's a big sacrifice for my husband. She's like, what can I do? What do? I garden, but my daughter's already promised my flowers, so in the veggies we produce, there's only really enough for our own family. I can't really see that we can afford to sell any of those. So she's like, what else? What else do I do? She says, I don't do anything creative. I just garden and I cook for my family. Now, little did she know that those are 2 very, very creative areas of life. And she saw in the middle of the table her elderflower cordial. So she poured some glasses for each of her family members and handed them out to each of them, and they all took a nice big long drink as they continued to ponder how they were going to pay the rest of this bill. And Mother, she was just lost. She was in a quandary. She didn't know how she could contribute to this bill. And she's busy here sitting, tapping the table. I'm sorry about the alarm, guys. Hopefully it will stop soon. And one by one, the rest of her family look at each other. Youngest daughter's holding her glass. Oldest daughter looks at her younger sister and thinks the same thing, and they look at each other. And then they look at their father, and their father's taking a big swig, and he puts his glass down and catches the eyes of his daughter, and they kind of hold up their glasses. And it dawns on him what they're thinking, and he gives a big grin. And then he reaches across the table with his glass of elderflower cordial, and the daughters do, and they do, you know, like the chairs, they clink their glasses together. And the mother, who's caught up in her own thoughts, is startled and looks up and is like, what are you doing? And they all looked at her, held up their glasses, and says, we can sell your cordial. And a big smile broke over Mother Benson's face as the idea settled inside of her and just relieved all those fears and worries that she had over this bill that they had to pay. And she was like, you know, you're right. Thank you, family. Thank you for helping me out on that. So the next Saturday, they headed off to the local market and they sold their flowers. They sold all the baskets that the daughter had to offer. They sold the chair for an amazing price because it was a bespoke piece of furniture that nobody else had and was a real statement piece. And they were able to sell all of the elderflower cordial that Mum had made. And people were walking around the market drinking elderflower cordial. And so the family did really, really well. And they made more than enough to pay the bill. So there we go, guys. That's a happy little story for today. So we're going to pop in our prompt list here. And we're going to pull the prompts for next week's collage. So just going to close my eyes now and do a little bit of a shuffle as much as I can. Whoops. Here we go. Yep, one flew away. It's hard with my eyes closed too because they often escape and it's like, where did it go? I don't even know if they end up upside down or what. Doesn't really matter. Oh my gosh, alarm, would you stop, please? I so hate when I forget to turn it off before I record, and it's my alarm to let me know it's time to take my calcium. So I need to keep it on, otherwise I can get through the day and I haven't taken all my meds at the right times or supplements, and I need to have them timed properly. So that's why that's happening. Right, since this one flew out, is it just one? Or it feels like there might be more than one. Yep, there's more than one. Okay, let's take this one since it wanted to fly away. Oh, no, there's two. Whoops, there's more than two. Okay, we're taking this one. Okay, so Jatsy Girl. Now, Jatsy Girl, that's your name on YouTube. I would love to know your actual name. You've commented on many, many videos and I've never known your name, and I'd love to know what to call you. So if you'd like to comment either on this video or the next video, comment on and just let me know what your name is. I would love that. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But I just do love to be able to call people by their name. So next week's prompts are paint chip, TV, paper. Oops, I see I've left an E out of paper. Never mind. Lamp and pink. So that's what we're working with next week. So there's our collage and our story of the Benson family and our prompts for next week. And the prompts this week were from Selina. So thank you, Selina, for those awesome prompts. They were really fun. I must say the bill was really hard to find, but right at the nth degree, I remembered I had this printable. So all good. So I'd love to see your collages that you might make with these prompts. You can share them in my Facebook group, Visual Vibes, or you can use the hashtag collage stories over on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you post on social media if you post, or you can email them to me. I have some lovely people who email me with their makes, and that is a good option as well. Take care, my friends. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again on Monday. Take care. Bye.